Hey YouTube, Untamed here. What the heck has happened to the mid-size pickup truck segment? You walk in a dealership lot, you're going to see lines upon lines of unsold inventory, and well, it becomes abundantly clear when you look at the window sticker, right? So many of these Toyota Tacomas behind me are priced between $50,000 and $65,000. Absolutely insane, right? The TRD PRO, $68,000. Trailhunter, right about the same. The Chevy Colorado ZR2 Bison, you're looking about $60,000 or more for that. The Ford Ranger Raptor, all these examples used to be between that $30,000 and $35,000 price point. That's why a lot of people would get into this segment. Get a smaller truck, you can still do truck things with it, but the price tags have gotten far out of this world. Not to mention, when you pop the hood, what do you often find? You often find these tiny, tiny displacement motors. We have a 2.4 liter turbocharged four-banger underneath the hood of this Tacoma here. And that's very similar across all other vehicle manufacturers. It's the unfortunate truth that they have gotten overly complex. The average Joe and Jane cannot pop the hood and work on these things anymore, and that to me is a shame. Stick with me in this video, we're gonna talk through it all. So we have a couple AT4Xs here. Let me just show you, remind you rather, of how much they want for these nowadays. Over $53,000, dang near 54 grand for this GMC Canyon AT4. Absolutely insane. Again, we find ourselves with that tiny displacement four-cylinder underneath the hood. I mean, heck, we are actually priced around that point with the full-size segment here. The Sierra here, 1500, is right out $59,000 after discount. To be fair, I think you can get several $1,000s off of these if it meant making a deal, especially in today's climate. Would you like to know a major reason as to why your insurance premium has over doubled in the last 2 years? It's thanks to vehicles like this. Hopefully you'll be able to see it, but the price tag, look at that, $160,000 dang near for this Cadillac Escalade IQ Sport 2. It's kind of sickening. I say it raises your insurance premium because when somebody buys that and they crash it and total it out and insurance pays it out, well, we're all kind of feeding into the same pot of insurance money ultimately, and that affects all of our premiums, all of our rates. You gotta admit, it's pretty sad when the Honda Ridgeline is becoming more and more of a reasonable and logical decision for so many mid-sized pickup truck buyers, right? I mean, a lot of people won't even really refer to this as a mid-sized pickup truck. They kind of call it a car truck, if you will, but $46,000 for this particular example here. People are gravitating to them because at very least, they still offer a naturally aspirated V6 underneath the hood. And that right there is reason enough for so many people. There's a little bit more peace of mind in this, a little bit more reliability, at least in the back of your mind anyway, right? And just for a full sight picture, the price tag on this Honda Ridgeline Trail Sport is just over $47,000. So not cheap by any means, but when you compare them to all those $55,000 turbocharged four-bangers over there, the Toyota Tacomas, this begins to make sense, huh? And guys, I understand I beat this drum far too often, but I do firmly believe that the Nissan Frontier truly is the last of its kind, the last of its breed, if you will, of being still a rugged mid-sized pickup truck, right? You still get the 3.8 liter naturally aspirated V6 underneath the hood. Pretty simplistic and bare bones on the inside, nothing more than what you need, really. And I think for a lot of people, that's why they're actually selling, right? That's a lot of what people just want out of their trucks nowadays. They want bare bones utility out of their truck, and this here I think offers it for a reasonable price tag, especially after discounts that you generally find from Nissan. So we have a 3.9% interest rate over 60 months. That's not bad, especially given the fact that 7% is the national average. But that price tag there, just over 46 grand. I guarantee you can get several $1,000s off of this and still get that kind of interest rate on it. Let's look at this one, see if it's comparable in pricing. So a little bit more, get a few additional goodies here. Both of these here are Pro 4X trims. And I understand Nissan doesn't have the best reputation. I understand that, guys. But if it were my money and I was buying a mid-size pickup, it would be this. You know, the Ford Ranger Raptor would likely be my second place pick. You know, I think they're pretty close to each other, but this here, when it comes to bang for your buck, I do believe the Frontier wins. We now live in an age where all vehicle manufacturers are just trying to maximize their profit margins, right? And by doing that, what are they doing? They're ultimately upping the amount of technology, creature comforts, and bells and whistles, the interior finishes, they're upping all of that. And by doing that, that profit margin increases tremendously, right? But this here, cloth interior, pretty bare bones, and this is the highest trimmed example being the Pro 4X. Even this, I would argue, is basic enough for most people to really appreciate. You tell me. Here we have a few examples of the Chevy Colorado here, all of them sporting the turbocharged four-banger, and right around that $50,000 to $53,000 price point. These are Z71 packages here, so kind of that mid-tier, mid to upper trim examples here. Of course, you have the ZR2, the ZR2 Bisons that easily get up to that $60,000 plus range, which is absolutely insane. To me, vehicles like this just offer a very synthetic driving experience. Having that turbo lag within a small pickup truck just doesn't feel right to me. And maybe I'm alone on that. Maybe I'm the oddball here. You guys let me know. If I'm spending $50,000 plus for my mid-size pickup truck, I better dang well have that exceptional peace of mind that comes with it. If I don't, I'm not buying it. I'm especially upset with Toyota in particular because Toyota has historically been known for their exceptional reliability. They had a phenomenal reputation because of it. But you can't help but feel as though they put revenue over reputation at this point, and that's quite saddening to me. And here we have the last of the OG brutes. We have a third generation Toyota Tacoma that sported the 3.5 liter naturally aspirated V6, and of course, the Nissan Frontier here. The Nissan Frontier is gonna make way of the third generation 4Runner here soon before we know it, right? I mean, people are going to quickly miss having a naturally aspirated V6 in their Frontier because that too is going the way of the Tacoma, I guarantee it. It's just a matter of time and people will miss it soon enough. Your grandkids will soon be flabbergasted when you tell them that you once owned and driven a naturally aspirated engine before. They're going to be blown away by it. And here we have a few Ford mid-size pickup trucks here, a few Ford Rangers over here, and of course a Ford Maverick here. Go to any Ford dealership, you're only going to find maybe 1, 2, or 3 Ford Mavericks sitting on the lot because these are actually selling. They're selling not because they're wildly popular, but because they are affordable, right? You can get one of these for that $28,000 to $35,000 price range. Originally, these were advertised to be the $20,000 pickup, but well, we've already distanced ourselves tremendously from that. And this one here, I believe, is just over $33,000. Let's look. It's an XLT. Yes, so $33,205 for this Ford Maverick XLT. So you tell me, I mean, is it worth it to you? You know, these Ford Rangers here, they now cost what those Ford F-150s used to cost not that long ago. This is that new color for 2025 on this Ford Ranger Lariat. It's called a Marsh Gray. Look at that. Dang near $50,000 for a Ford Ranger, a mid-sized pickup truck, a freaking Ranger costing 50 grand. Can you believe it? At very least, the final assembly point still for the Ford Ranger is in the United States. I had a friend in school whose dad bought a brand new Ford Ranger back in the early 2000s, and I remember being blown away by the price tag then. I think it was just under $20,000 back then, and I remember thinking, holy cow, how in the world would you spend that kind of money on a tiny little truck? But now here we are, 50 grand is what you're paying just a few years later. And although they look good, the Jeep Gladiator is a prime example of quality going down tremendously, all while the price tags were shot to the moon. Since 2019, we've seen a 54% increase on MSRPs across the entire Jeep lineup on average, right? So absolutely insane growth in price tags, all while the quality is really being flushed down the toilet, right? You can't buy a Jeep Wrangler or a Jeep Gladiator with any level of confidence, unfortunately, right? I mean, there's a large reason why we saw the stock market of Stellantis go down the gutter, right? There's a large reason why we have a new CEO of Stellantis, and they're trying to bring back the brand reputation. They're trying to bring back like the Hemi V8s, right, that they had in the Ram. They're bringing back the Ram TRX. They're trying their best to try to bring back that reputation because, well, this American icon here is no longer iconic, unfortunately. The few examples I have here in front of me, they're priced between $7,000 and $12,000 off MSRP. Got the Mojave edition there, another one right here. They look good, and I won't deny that, but even with these pretty substantial discounts on them, they cannot move that inventory, which is pretty sad. So I'll wrap up the video there, guys. Let me know what your thoughts are. I mean, I believe that the mid-size pickup truck segment has totally lost its way. The price tags have been shot to the moon, much like everything else, but people just don't buy this size of a truck to spend that kind of coin on it. Let's face it. So let me know what your thoughts are. As always, I do sincerely appreciate you taking the time to tune into these videos. If you found any value in it whatsoever, I do respectfully request that you please consider liking and subscribing. Your support means a lot, and it certainly doesn't go unnoticed. Until next time.